Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Just Be. And I'm here with JennB, my dear friend and colleague, and my name is Agakura B. And we would just like to invite you to come along and let's chill and chat. Maybe you also have your favorite beverage. I know you have peppermint latte. That sounds really
I do
yummy.
today. And you've got
And
yummy sweet tea? Is
oh,
that what
yes,
you
it's
have?
black tea.
Mm,
Sweet. Yes, I just needed it sweet today. There's some things I still can't do without sugar.
I
And
agree.
today we wanted to talk about the bad guy, or someone who's often labeled as a bad guy, and it's multitasking, and share our experience and our take on it. Because I think, I don't know about you, I never actually considered multitasking bad until I heard so many people talk bad about multitasking. What about you?
Yes. So I'm curious just to know what we'll define multitasking for ourselves then. Okay. I never thought it was bad. It's how I manage my day to day. ADHD makes me go bloop, 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 bloop. I do a lot of multitasking. I have lots of tabs up. And when society decides to define multitasking as bad because your focus is not 100% on one thing. Okay, but what about those of us who need the multitasking to feel effective and get through blocks? So,
Yes.
yes, I multitask. And probably not like as some people would think too. So I know we were talking about when we have to listen to a podcast or learn something.
Yes.
Multitasking for me is I will start to play whatever it is that I'm needing to listen to, um, even if there's a visual. And I will either write in my journal, crochet, paint something with my hands so that my brain can listen and the energy can be used somewhere else. So that's how I
Yes.
will effectively use multitasking. And if I'm working on a project and I'm focused on it, but another idea pops in, I will pull up another tab and put it over there. That could be
Mhm.
considered multitasking, but I'm not working on it. I'm just reminding myself of,
Mhm.
yeah. So what does it look like for you?
For me, interesting, it often includes cooking. So when I have the
Mm,
tougher something is or feels that I have to get done, or the more serious, I will prefer to be cooking on the side or
yeah,
making a break and go do something in the kitchen. So that's my thing. And also, as you said, listening to some things when they're so intense, I
mm,
will just find myself like drawing something, or it's not that both the main focus is on one thing.
right.
And there is a part of the brain that just needs to regulate that because otherwise it feels so intense, whatever I'm listening to or whatever I'm doing. And it also, to go back to one of the previous episode, I think it brings in fun in some tasks.
Yes. Yes.
And I just remembered now that when I was a kid, so I had my room and my desk, and I would still prefer to do my homework in the kitchen when where my mom was,
Right. If I have to
or
read
to be where other people were.
the energy of something else. So like you were saying, if I'm listening to something intense or if I was in class, um,
Mm.
I would doodle. Like you said, I would start to just kind of design something on my notebook. And I would also be taking notes because my brain needed it to learn and also to stay focused. And my energy has to come somewhere else. And then yes, I would go to the library, but I'd be in the talking area.
Yes.
So that as I'm reading, my brain can kind of be listening to something else. I mean,
Mm.
now I put in my ear pods and can read my book, textbooks and highlight and stuff with jazz or something going on in the background. But yeah, the
Have you tried
energy.
white noise?
I haven't. I actually in the summer I can with a fan. I can turn a fan on and that really helps to
Mm.
negate it. But and and there's other things we do too. So I like how you I'm going to ask you to go back to you go into the homework with in the kitchen. Do you feel it was to help your brain regulate the energy, to feel belonging and comfort while you were studying something tough, to be there as support if needed?
I think it was the belonging and like when my mom was cooking, it was somehow soothing to like her energy, but then also the smell. And it
Mm.
made whatever, especially math
Oh,
homework that triggered at that time used to trigger a lot of anxiety in me. So if I am working on a math task and I feel like my throat is closing and I may cry, just to smell my favorite dish or one of something I like would just bring me down. So maybe it's a bit, it was my way of anchoring.
oh, I love that.
And for me, smell is so important. Like,
Yes,
and sometimes when things are really tough, it can just bring so much regulation. So
I
what
like
was
it.
it with you on the talking area of the library?
I think it was also the belonging and the social that there must have been, thinking back to it, something on the terms maybe I'm not alone. We're all here. We're all studying. We're all trying. And it's fun. Like you brought in earlier, there was that essence of fun because there's that social, and I'm not trudging through this on my own. It was,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, that is
yeah.
true. And silence, I still find it difficult. And sometimes, for example, when I'm working on content, it has to be like wordless accompaniment. And that's why I'm so happy that I found this white noise on YouTube where it's like, I don't know how long, 10 hours. And it's like it reminds me of when you're on the plane, an overnight
Oh,
flight, the moment where
yes.
everybody's asleep, but you hear the plane. Oh,
Bzzz.
love it.
I'm trying to think. If I play something, it'll have to be a sensory thing. So I love when I was younger to relax. It was always, baths and things. And I would play like a classical George Winston. He's a pianist who just makes some
Mm,
really great music that I could just let my brain create a story to while I was
mm,
unwinding. And so now when I'm in a tough place and I'm feeling really stressed about some task, like you said, I will put that music on. There's no words to it, but I'm
yes.
immediately brought back to that place, like you said, with the kitchen where I can feel the relaxing. I just understand. My whole body goes, oh.
Mm.
And then just like you said, fragrances too. So multitasking has its has its benefits too, because we can get energy out, keep our focus, feel
Mm.
connected, anchor ourselves. What did I miss?
And I'm just wondering because you said all these things and multitasking, maybe the term is um multi experiencing or
Multi-sensing.
multi-con sensing, multi-connecting,
Ooh, I like connecting.
multi-focusing. It's not that I am with my two hands, I'm doing one thing, but then I'm more than just what I'm doing.
Hmm.
There's another connection. I mean, I've heard of doctors that in the operating room, they listen to music.
Right. And they put their favorite music on, guitar, jazz. I've heard that. Even rock. I'm like, okay.
Exactly. So would you tell them, okay, you're not going to do this appendix, right? Or is it actually that sometimes we need that, and maybe
Right.
the more focus one thing needs, the more some of us need to be connected to another thing.
Absolutely. I'm gonna look up the definition of multitasking because you're really making me curious. So I will go back to the first question you asked me is what do I feel about multitasking? It's the performance of more than one task at the same time. But a task could be measured in any level.
Yeah.
I think it depends on who you are, how easily distracted you are.
Mhm.
For me, having a couple things going on keeps me focused on the most important thing at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me that flexibility. I think when society tries to put us in such a square bucket, it makes all that energy that's still stuck in here kind of want to explode. And then I will multitask. I'll start cleaning out the kitchen drawer, move to the closet in the hallway, then go into my living room and go, oh, well, that is multitasking because nothing's getting done. But if I can play music, dance in the kitchen, put things away, move to the next room, I might not have such a gigantic cleanup at the end.
And and yet, if this was a way, if going to the kitchen and starting something is a way of you continuing to enjoy cleaning up your closet, where would the harm be? So my whole thing with
Ooh, I
multitasking
like
is
that.
that I do understand that it's not for everyone, but I don't understand why it's become the bad guy. Um, Obviously, having an irritating phone conversation while you're driving, okay, there needs to be responsibility.
Right.
Um, and still, it's just that the word, I think, is sometimes unfairly
Use.
judged or
I think
viewed.
it's used to judge others.
Mhm.
If so, hearing you say all that made me wonder, is that the way to keep people performing at expected levels, not at
Mm.
personal levels, but at
Mhm.
society's levels?
Yes. And that is ignoring that many people will perform or everybody will perform when they are in the setting or under the conditions that they best perform. It's trying to think that we are one person and we all work the same way. And the only way to be productive in a company is to all do it like
Oh,
John is doing it.
you just said that. My whole body went, oh,
Mhm. And
well, it
you
did.
see the gray carpet, the
Oh, and
company
I feel us
politics.
walking and walking and walking. It reminds me of the beginning of a movie because I'm going to bring some fun into this.
Uh-huh. Yes, please do.
The movie is called Joe versus the Volcano, and it's got Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in it, and it's a really fun movie. But at the very beginning of it, it's just very gray, and you see feet stomping through mud, and and the music is so, and it's meant to be that way to give the feel of drudgery and the same old, same old, same old, same old. And that's kind of when you said that, I went to that feeling like, oh, I can't do
Never
that.
heard of that. John, sorry, I'm
That's
gonna write
Joe
that
versus
down.
the volcano.
Joe
Any of you
versus
that are listening and watching us chat, put in the comments if you've seen it and what your favorite parts are. There's so many things in it. Um, the word flibbity gibbet came out. It's a whole word I had to look up to see what it meant. Just somebody who talks too much.
right. I never is it a new one or is it an
Oh,
older?
it's an old one. It's an old one.
Hey,
Let me look it up. Let's see if I can find it for it to like get an
Joe
idea of it.
versus the volcano.
Yep, Joe versus the volcano. It's pretty good. If you're a Tom Hanks fan, it was 1990, so it tells you how many years ago. In some ways, it feels like it was only 10 years ago, but we know it's a whole lot more. 20,
Yeah,
25 years ago.
25 years, yes.
Yeah. It was really it was a good beginning of the drudgery. And actually the breaking out of society's expectations kind of feel. It was good.
Hmm.
Multitasking, probably not. It did when you said the whole corporate thing and we can't multitask and
Oh,
we have to answer this
yes.
memo. Like Office Space is always is a one that's people quote, did you see the memo? It's in the memo. That's a whole lot of you
Oh,
can't multitask. You have to do this. Yeah. Just so even movies, which are meant to be fun and escapism have multitasking constraints and labels.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I think if you if people stop, they will be like I think there are people who may already have a certain view or talk about people who multitask. And then if you stop them and said why, it would be like, oh yeah, true. It's because I've heard. Like we're making it into there's so many concepts that we're changing into I've heard. I don't need to prove it. I've heard that. I've heard that that's how
So it
people
must be
who
true if I've heard it.
exactly, exactly. And I think one of the things that we invited to um like even as coaches or in our training is to really go and how do you say not prove check or find
Yes,
out yourself.
right. And if you catch yourself being a multitasker, notice. Notice how you're feeling. Notice what you're processing. Notice what you're accomplishing or not accomplishing. And then maybe make some notes. No judgment. There shouldn't be any shoulds on yourself.
And no, because you said should, I was reminded of this eliminating guilt and shame that we
Yes.
also learn to think, notice what need you're trying um to fill while
Okay.
you're multitasking. Because it's really, I think sometimes we think that, okay, I've noticed this, I need to get rid of it. There is a need that you're trying to fill
Yes.
and to satisfy while multitasking. Do you know the person who's multitasking? Do you know yourself? Do you know why they're doing it? That can be helpful too. And maybe the answer will surprise you and you'll be like, okay, I got it.
Right. And like Agakura and I were talking about earlier, is we both noticed she went to the kitchen for the cooking, the smells, the anchoring, the belonging. I was in the library for the belonging, the fun, the energy. So noticing is one thing, and then going, oh, cool. This is why.
Mhm.
And make it work for you.
Yes.
I think that's the most, I love how you brought fun back into it. So, so important, an everyday thing.
Yes. And some things need fun companions. Like if it's about doing taxes, don't
Oh,
shame yourself if you want to go and bake cookies in the middle of it. Because
oh, heck yes. I'm going to be going into my kitchen making cookies and bread while taxes are finishing.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Or when I have to do my paperwork and my receipts, it's one of those. What music can I play? Oh, it's going to be my hard, heavy metal rock is probably what I'll be playing during that time. So,
that's when you feel the need for that for
right.
certain, so you feel the need for different types of music depending on
Different
what's at
depending
mm,
on what it's triggering, what I'm feeling in me, so that my
mhm,
body can notice the energy and release it how it needs to in that moment. So I can still finish the task, but I'm not hurting myself by
mhm.
putting my head down and just pushing through.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. I'll try it. There's some kind of music, for example, I know that Bach is used a lot
Oh,
for relaxing.
yes.
And because I'm a trained classical musician, I can't because I'll be analyzing what he's doing. Like, oh, that's an interesting chord. Oh, why did he go there? Oh,
Oh, so you have to know
brilliant.
yourself then not to be distracted too.
So no Bach for me while relaxing.
No,
Or while focusing.
on something different. So, but if
Yes,
it's something where you don't have to focus too hard, like putting a puzzle
exactly.
together or
Hmm.
finishing cooking, you can
Yes, definitely.
enjoy yourself with it.
Definitely. Oh,
Oh my
wow.
gosh. So,
So,
at the end of this, you've heard all these thoughts from us. So, Agakura, what would you leave them with?
if you are a multitasker and maybe have been called out on it, I would invite you to see ways of healing that.
Mhm.
And as Jen was saying, journaling, journal the benefits that it's given, what it's given you, and why you why you've turned to it, and maybe also I'd invite you to develop your own view on multitasking so that when you hear it or when you hear someone criticizing it, you can still be like, well, it's not my experience.
I love that. I love how you can release it. That's beautiful.
Exactly. Release it. What about you?
I love that. And I invite everyone who's watching to leave a comment about what works for you, what you
Mm.
found as you've processed multitasking, where you put your fun in. I would invite the fun because I'm always looking for ways that there's no judgment. There's more of, oh, this is who, this is how, and why. We just invite you to notice and be a part of your own growth, not somebody else's label of growth. So
Yes.
Rue agrees. If you can hear my dog, she absolutely
I
agrees.
can't. I never hear her.
Wow, she's
It's
barking like
amazing.
crazy. So she must be multitasking, watching this street and like the house.
Someone coming, the mailman.
Probably. Well, thanks again for stopping by to chat with us. Leave comments in the field below, like, subscribe, and come on back until next time. Thanks for joining us with Just Be.
Thank you, guys.